All right. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Now I have Skype and Camtasia running. It's like you have to pray to the tech gods. Nothing goes wrong.
I was going to say, if you didn't hear what I said, I thought you were a technology geek.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll repeat. So the repeat is
Yeah.
that we know that the answer lies really in 90% of our questions.
Right. So the
So the question, the really clarifying question is, how do I?
make a sale. How do I make the sale? Given that I know that Rob has a problem with his website. He spent $25,000 on the website, and it's giving him absolutely no return on his investment. So
Mhm.
how do I make that sale? And then, yeah, that's really it. So how do I make the sale? I have to convince him that I am the agency or I am the person who is able to solve that problem as well.
Hmm.
So I think there's two problems. I think not only is it that I have to sell my solution, I also have to sell the fact that I'm the person to deliver that solution as well.
Okay. Okay. So I'm just writing these things down. Okay. So let's start right here. Tell me why you.
Well, we have been working with people kind of like Rob in that high end IT services
Mhm.
domain, not necessarily audiovisual, but definitely high end IT services. And we have done guest posting before, guest blogging and public relations before, uh, with people similar to his ideal client. His ideal client is the I'll say the Fortune 1000 locally in the area. We have reached people within the Fortune 1000.
Mhm. What else?
And he's in various verticals. I think education and finance and pharma and things like that. So and we have reached those people before.
What else?
Why else for us? Well, we have a our specialty is driving high quality traffic to a website. That's really our specialty.
What else?
And we also have a fairly innate understanding of a long sales cycle. Because we have worked with clients who, like I said, who all of our clients have fairly long sales cycles. They're not like these $19 products or $19 a month type of products and things like that. They're usually like $40,000 $50,000 installations or services and things like that.
What else?
I'm not really sure.
You only came out with five.
I also have well. The other thing is that my the reason why I choose tech companies and work with tech companies is because I am a techie. I have a computer engineering background, so being able to speak that language to Rob, and also being able to converse between the technology and the salespeople or the people who are going to make the buying decisions is something that's a strength of mine. We are able to we're able to relate to technology, which is what most of the time that the tech president or the tech CEO cares about, into money, which is usually what the person who is the buyer really cares about. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah, go ahead.
And so that's really what where I mean so those few things are I think are really where our core strength lies. Being able to turn technology and converse in the tech world and relate it to the business folks and the buyers and people like that. The ability to understand the long sales cycle and what that means, driving high quality traffic to a website and being able to nurture that traffic into leads. And
Mm-hmm.
those are really where our three. I'll say that those are our three core values. Is that the right word?
Okay.
Or our
Yeah,
three core
your strengths.
strengths? Correct. Yes.
Okay, so they're your strengths.
Yep.
So if you were to describe to me right now, um, Who are your maybe your top clients? Who are they?
My top clients are they're like I said, they're technology companies with very high end services. Like start usually they start or products and services like they usually start at like a $10,000 type of install package or a $10,000 service package and work up. Um, they're basically there's companies with very long sales cycles, 6, 8, 9, 12 months in that area because the product and the service is so long. Um, they are generally doing about $10 million to, I think our biggest client does 150 to $200 million in revenue. There is a bit of a gap there. So that means that they have anywhere between, let's say, 50 employees all the way up to a few thousand employees to maybe about 1,000 to 2,000. We generally don't like to go much bigger than 1,000 to 2,000 employees.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's a fairly large gap there. The reason why is because a lot of our early clients,
Mm-hmm.
they had 50 employees, and then we sort of worked up from there. So we still like to work with a 50 employee company.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, at at every means possible, we like to work with the president slash CEO of the company, and we like to have access to that person.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you were to tell me right now, who are your top clients, and you were to not describe them, but who are they?
All right,
Like top three.
so we have a company called Clickability. They're
Okay.
a software company. J2 Solutions. They do like IT program management,
Mm-hmm.
and then there is a company called Limelight Networks, and they do like they do a whole host of things, but one of their things is software.
Okay.
We work
So
primarily with their software division.
Limelight is software.
Yeah, Clickability is software, and then J2 is program product management. In the IT space.
Okay. So all three are in the IT space.
Yeah, IT technology, correct? Like back end infrastructure, things like that. Yes.
Okay. And what is the say um, psychographics of these top three clients? What's the psychographics of clickability?
Define psychographics.
Or maybe the reason why are they working with you? What's maybe, you know, you're obviously helping them do something.
Yeah, so we basically they work with us because they never had a an online lead generation strategy, and that's really like they're no BS type of clients. So in other words, like they don't care about things like Facebook or LinkedIn or
Right.
stuff like that. They just want how many leads are you going to get me this month? How many conversions is that going to lead to? How many sales, so on and so forth. Things like that. That's all they yeah, they just care about the bottom line. So they work with us because we built a we sell a system, right? We sell a strategy, we sell a system, and so that's why they work with us. And the system can be customized to expand to their and retract according to their budget. So, for instance, if they have a bigger budget, I mean, just a simple breakdown. If they have a bigger budget, then they'll get, let's say, 20 guest posts a month. If they have a smaller budget, they'll get 5 guest posts a month. So the system can kind of expand and retract according to however much they want to pay. But regardless of that, basically, it, they just like to hear that hey, we have a system, we test and measure everything, we're held accountable for our results, and we like I said, we don't sell Facebook marketing or we don't sell LinkedIn. We just sell leads. That we sell them. How much is a lead worth? And a
Mm-hmm.
lead is worth, let's say, whatever, $200 or whatever it is. How many leads are you going to get me? How many? What's your conversion percentage? And then what's that lead into sales and things like that. That's all they care about.
Okay. What about J2?
Again, it's the same thing. They have a smaller budget than the other two, but it's still the same thing. It's basically getting them leads. We work a lot more with lead conversion for them because they still do a lot of like online or offline networking and things like that, and they drive people manually back to their website through networking events. So we spend a lot of time with them just nurturing their leads through email marketing, but it's still the same premise of, hey, we're bringing people here to the website or wherever. How are you going? What's your process to convert them? How much is this person worth? And how long is it going to take to convert? So on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay. And Limelight?
so Limelight has a huge budget, and the reason uh, we actually don't work with the president or the CEO of the company because they're a $1 billion company. So we essentially work with a marketing manager,
Mm-hmm.
which is both good and bad. Good because they have a huge budget. Bad because I don't like working with a marketing manager because our if somebody above him decides they don't want to work with us anymore, then we're done. So
So are they an ideal client?
they're not. They're not an ideal. They're a good client, but they're not ideal. No.
Okay, so they're not really your top client.
They are in terms of sheer
Revenue?
revenue coming in. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So that's why they're a top client. They're one of our three highest paying clients. Yes.
Right. Okay. Okay. All right. Where does Sonero fit?
Sonero fits into Rob's company fits right into my ideal wheelhouse of
Okay.
that. They're a little bit quote unquote on the small side in
Mm-hmm.
terms of like in the range of, we go from 50 to, like I said, 50 to 1,000 to 2,000 employees, and they're closer to the 50 side. I think they have 75 to 100 employees now.
Mm-hmm.
So that means they probably are doing anywhere between 20 and $30 million in revenue. But I like that because one, they still get to pay it's still enough to pay the bills, and it's I mean, $20 million is nothing to sneeze at,
Mm-hmm.
and their marketing budget is quite big.
Mm-hmm.
Not relative to some other clients, but it's still, they still have $100,000 to $200,000 marketing budget,
Mm-hmm.
and I get to work with the CEO of the company, which is what I like.
Yeah. Okay. So that kind of
Right. I
is
mean, one of my strengths also, I think one of my strengths also is that, which is why I would like to work with the CEO of the company, is that I generally am a fairly likable person, I think, and so left to the devices, if you're working with if the person who's writing the bills and they like you, then then chances are they're going to keep you around longer than if like if you're working with, let's say, the marketing manager, and
right.
even if they do like you, the person above him who's never met us before is like, we don't need them anymore. You know what I mean? So if we're liked, then
Mm-hmm.
we're able to kind of stick around more
Mm-hmm.
longer.
So if you were to describe maybe three non-negotiables when you're working with a client, what are they? Because they're really part of a unique offering that you have. What are those non-negotiables?
Uh, it has to be there has to be like a B2B company. That's non-negotiable.
Okay. All right. So instead of that being, that's really kind of almost a little qualifying in regards to the demographics.
Correct.
Okay. So that doesn't really count. But what would you say is a non negotiable in regards to most likely our values, working relationship?
Oh, I see. I see.
Okay.
Um, Chemistry with the company, and it's hard to quantify what that means, but you kind of know it when you're working with them. Probably within a week or so, you understand. Okay, I'm gonna have a good working relationship with this person, and
Yeah.
so that chemistry and uh, that chemistry with that person is non-negotiable. I can't work with somebody who I don't like.
Okay.
That's
So
just
say more about that.
Well, I mean, we've all had these people who we've kind of quote unquote sold our souls to in order to work with them, and you're just sort of you're like every time they call and you see their, or you get an email from them, you kind of roll your eyes and you get a little feeling in the pit of your stomach like, oh, God, not these guys again. uh,
Mhm.
and so like not because just because they're just bad people. Like I don't like there's no way to put it. Like not like not that they're like they're just bad people to work with. I'm sure they're fine to go have a beer with, but you don't even want to get that far. They're just bad people to work with.
Okay, so
I
so
can't
the
explain it.
non-negotiable is bad people.
Yeah, exactly.
Have,
Like I want to be able to feel like, hey, I could call like if a client is in town or if I'm going out there, I just want to I want to feel like, hey, I could call them up and say, hey, do you want to go get a beer or drink or whatever. Like that kind of relationship is non-negotiable for me.
okay.
Um, the second thing that's non-negotiable for me is I'm trying to think. They need to have an open mind.
Ah. Mhm.
Um, some of the stuff like that we're going to be able like that we're going to propose to them is going to be a little bit different and unique, and
Mhm.
so they need to be open to the fact that, hey, you know what, let's give this a chance first before we criticize it.
Mhm.
A lot of people who are who we work with or who we kind of we steer away from are the people who we write something up and then they you get it back with all the red pen and things like that because they want to remove all the stuff. Well, all that quote unquote stuff that they think is stupid or non-important is really like the important things. So we have to work with people who are open-minded. A lot of the people in our demographic, they really think that like we have to talk about the tech, we have to talk about the tech and all this stuff, and and when they get like the first few things that they get from us and it doesn't mention technology, then they're like, oh no, there's a huge argument. So they have to have an open mind and understand that we have to do it this way because it works better. It works better for the buyer.
Mhm. And what's the third one?
And then the third one is um, well, it is a demographic, but um, they I mean they have to they have to it's a budget thing, but they have to have a budget they have to have a budget for marketing. And I'd prefer somebody who has tried marketing in the past and it failed versus I don't want to sell I don't want to sell somebody on marketing, if that makes sense.
So
If I could
a
it
commitment to marketing.
right. So ideally I would love it if the prospect called to me like like when I convert prospects the best,
Mhm.
it's because they spent 20, $30,000 last year on marketing, or they have a new website and they spent $25,000 on a website, or whatever it is. They've tried some marketing component in the past, seriously tried, not like $3,000 for a website or something, or $2,000 for a website, but they've seriously tried it and they are failing miserably, and they want so I think that's non-negotiable for me, and I think it's a little bit of a demographic, but non-negotiable is they have tried it before and they've spent money before and they spent time before and it failed.
And it's
And
failed.
it's failed, yes, because
Okay.
that means that they understand that
Mhm.
that they need it, that they're trying to make that transition into marketing, but they also understand that we don't have what it takes at the moment. There are some companies that are just going to swear by their sales force and say we don't need marketing, just that's just BS and fluff and all that other crap,
Okay.
and they're just going to hire more salespeople, and that's not the kind of company that we want to work with because we're never going to convince them that at this point in their lifespan or in the juncture of their lifetime of their company, we're never going to convince that guy that marketing is going to help them. He's just going to say, what I need is another sales guy. We want a company that has tried marketing, that understands that marketing is going to help generate leads for their salespeople, and then their salespeople are going to be able to close. And we've tried this before. We spent $40,000, $50,000, a considerable amount of money, and we haven't worked, and it hasn't worked. So
Okay,
that's
so I summarized it as, so a non-negotiable for you is a commitment to marketing for future growth
yep,
and have experienced some failure.
correct. Yes,
Okay, so you're saying what's non-negotiable for an ideal client or a top client for you is that they non-negotiable. You don't work with bad people,
correct.
right?
Yeah,
To be open-minded.
yep,
If you're not open-minded, check you're off, right?
yep,
And you need to have a commitment to marketing for for future growth and have most likely experienced some past failure.
correct. Yes,
Okay, so they're non-negotiables.
right.
Okay, in the area of innovation, okay, where you compete on price, convenience, and quality, which is yours?
Um, we are definitely priced higher than our competitors.
Uh-huh. So
Um,
you compete on price.
we
You're not the Walmart.
right. We're not the Walmart by any stretch. We're more of I don't know. I don't. We're definitely more Nordstrom's than
Okay.
Walmart.
All right.
We we are, and that's because the other two are extremely important to us and to our clients. We compete. We do produce high quality work, and we also are there's somebody available within our organization almost 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Okay. So
Um,
here I'll challenge you on that.
sure.
Pick one.
Pick one.
Yeah.
Um, quality.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we and think like our the articles that we not only do we write better articles, but the public like than our competitors, but our articles are featured in things like Forbes, MSM Money, or whatever tech blog. Like like we're not gonna write an article for a tech like a little tech blog that has I don't know like 1,000 readers or something. Like we generally get published for our clients articles that are in the biggest publications on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So Giga Ohm, things like that, may not mean anything to you, but they're huge publications. They're not like these little, fun things. So we definitely compete on quality.
Okay. All right. So can you summarize why?
Why
Now?
why do we do that? Because
No. Can you summarize your why?
oh, my why.
Okay.
Probably not. Could you help me out? Could you lead? Yeah, could you lead me into it?
I just kind of took you through a little path to kind of get you there, Greg. Okay, because
Yeah.
you basically identified what? Who your top clients are,
Yeah.
right? Your ideal,
Yep.
you say ideal, or these are the people or organizations you want to work with.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So when you're meeting with Rob,
Yeah.
okay, because you're saying that one of your questions is, how do I make the sale or sell my solution that I am the person to deliver the solution?
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get real clear on why you and
Why? Well, because I think more than any other company, we know we understand what it is that you need, what it is that your pain is, and what your frustration is, and like the more than any other company, we understand how to. I'm trying to think. I was going to say how to solve that pain, but that's too vague. I think more than any other company or more than any other agency is that like we've put together a system and the system that we've put together almost ensures success.
Mhm.
We're not trying. We're not like we're not. Um, yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. Is that our this the system that we've kind of put together ensures the success of that marketing program that we're building for that person.
Yeah. So here's just something I noticed a little bit,
Hmm.
and I mean, it's a good thing that you're recording,
Yeah.
okay? Which is it's a great thing. Is that there's this little like almost you call it a bridge, okay? But and that was for a different purpose. But I'm going to say it's almost as if you are walking across this bridge.
Yes.
So when I hear you, okay, it's about look. Wait a second. You're one of Rob. Okay, meet Rob where he is.
Correct.
You know his space. You
Yeah.
know his world.
Right.
And instead of it coming across as kind of, oh,
Yeah.
where it's more like you can meet him. You can be able to say to him, "Hey, Rob, you know, I work with lots of companies just like Sonero,
Correct.
and here's what I found." Okay.
Right.
Okay, so you can almost like pull him in the sense of, you know what? If so many of these tech company or blah blah blah, whatever how you want to take it on the industry side, that they're committed to marketing and they want the growth of their company and blah 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 whatever. And what they've tried has failed.
Right.
But they know that to go back and do things the old way isn't going to change the result.
Correct.
Okay?
I think. What about like something like? I mean, what if I even offered to introduce him to one of the companies?
Okay, you're jumping ahead.
Okay, jumping ahead.
Just jumping ahead.
Okay.
Jump a little ahead. Okay? Because here may be where you get a little stuck in the sense of is to really start to identify the why.
Okay.
Why you? Like, I'm going to tell you, Rob, like, without where he starts to feel like you're right there with him.
Okay.
Because you can feel the pain
Right.
without you even having, you basically almost kind of did a quick diagnosis, right?
Yep.
You were like, okay, you've got runner's knee. This is the problem. Got to get off the running. Got to do this. Got to get stretching.
Yeah.
Like you could diagnose it for him. But instead, what you want to do is be able to be right with him.
So how do I do that then?
Well, which is really kind of where I just took you in terms of
Why?
Start to really clarify the why.
Okay.
Okay, we're not going to spend more time there, but I'm just saying right now is to hone in on the why. So you identified, hey, I've got a number of these top clients that I'm already working with.
And
here are the industries that they're in. Here kind of a little bit of the demographics. Here's the sociographics. Here's what their pain points were. Okay. And what you're saying to me is that Sonero lines right up with them.
Correct. And is this the point where I also say, well, here's why these people were failing, right? They weren't, whatever it is that, like they had a website or whatever it was, they were failing. They were failing because.
Right. And one of the key things, actually, kind of in a sales, when you're doing really, because what your sales presentation is consultative.
Correct.
Okay, it's a consultative sale. So a consultative sale will interject and say things like, just like you.
Okay.
Let me tell you about Limelight or whatever.
Right.
Flexibility.
Yeah.
Okay? And this is what happened to them.
Right.
They spent $40,000 on the blah, 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 blah.
Right. They spent $40,000 on a website and had no strategy to get traffic to it.
Right.
Something.
Okay. And some of your strengths is that you've been able to build the content that
Right.
that you hit, that the space.
Correct.
Because you are an engineer just like him.
Correct.
Okay, like you can step in there.
And
Say that.
we've delivered prospects similar to yours to these people. Like
Yeah,
you're selling to the chief technology officer hypothetically. You're selling to the chief technology officer of the Fortune 1000, and we've delivered chief technology offers of the Fortune 1000 to these clients.
right,
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay. Do you are you following?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So that's kind of a way in which you can kind of get him. You want him right with you,
Right.
and at the same time,
Yeah.
you want to be able to speak to him that it's almost as if he sees you almost you want him to see you as a peer.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
you're not the computer guy.
Right.
Okay,
Right. Right. Right.
you're not the
I'm
web
not. I'm
guy
just.
that worked out of the garage.
Yeah. I'm not the anonymous vendor. I'm the.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Okay.
get him to see you as the peer, the partner, because you've got the solution for him.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, and in consultative selling, that has to be when you kind of get him almost emotionally.
Right.
Okay, because you've identified what his needs are. Okay, so it's kind of like an NFP. Are you familiar with that?
I don't think so.
Okay, so NFP is really identify the needs.
Okay.
You know what his needs are.
Yes. Yep. I know
Okay,
what the needs are.
F, frustrations.
Okay.
Know what's frustrating him.
Yeah, I have a very good idea of what's frustrating him.
Okay, so if you're kind of, it's almost to be able to get real clear because he's the CEO that's going to want to bottom line it.
Right. His needs. Yeah, his needs are increased leads and revenue for his salespeople. Increase leads for his salespeople to close.
Sales, and then two is what?
His frustration is I spend money on marketing. I built a website, completely bombed. It's not getting the leads that I was promised. Like, what the hell am I going to do about this? That's his frustration.
Yeah,
And I right.
right.
I'm trying this marketing thing and it's just not working.
And what else?
Um, he's also sort of he's also done he's also tried to do like social media marketing and all this other crap marketing, and it's like and it's not like you just said, it's not delivering on his bottom line. He cares, hey, a lead is worth $500. It takes me what I yeah, a lead is worth $500 or whatever it is. It's probably more.
Yeah,
I
right.
have to get much more specific in that. But hypothetically, his lead is $500. It takes him 7 months to close a lead, and he's able to close 5% of all leads. But yeah, you're right. I have to get much more specific into how much a lead is worth, and
Yeah,
much more.
yeah. That I was just going to tie in. The other frustration for him is what?
The length. The other frustration. Well, the length. He's got a couple. The length of his sales cycle.
What else?
He wants to increase the value of his leads. So even
Mm-hmm.
if it is at 500, his biggest question is one of his questions is how could I get that to be worth $1,000?
Yep.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
increase the sales cycle, the speed up to go from like let's say 9 months to 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
and finally his other frustration is sort of like I just don't under one of his other things is I just don't understand how like how these teenagers who are talking about what they're eating for lunch is going to help me out with my marketing and with how that's going to help me drive leads. I mean, that's kind of what he's saying to himself in his mind. I've tried it out
Well,
before.
he's saying it to himself. I don't understand this.
Exactly. In some way,
Okay, so
shape, or form, right? Yep.
right. So he feels incompetent,
Yes.
right? Because it's like, I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
That's where he is.
Correct.
He's at the very first level of any form of learning.
Right.
Now, he's probably gotten to the second, which is saying, I now know what I don't know.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
Because chances are he got to this position because he himself was very good at what?
Sales and business development. Right.
And guess what? The way he got there
was doing
working today.
Right.
But,
He started out with sales, doing sales and selling, became very good at that, and now he's kind of in a position where I have to learn a new trick.
Yep.
And when he started out before, wherever he started before, he had time to learn how to sell. Now he's got an entire enterprise of 75 employees, and he's like, I just don't have the time to learn another trick. So
yeah, and it's not even about learning another trick. He knows that the future is so much dependent on this.
Exactly.
That he's far behind.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So being behind is costing him what?
Money.
Yep.
Competitive advantage. Money again. And that's really kind of, I think, where he cares. He understands I have to get on this before my competitors do, or if not, his competitors are already on it, and I need to catch up. And it's costing me revenue. I'm not reaching a certain demographic. I'm limited with my salespeople could only get, let's say, 10 leads a week, hypothetically.
Yep.
I'm very dependent linearly. Like, I have a very linear relationship with the amount of salespeople I bring in versus the amount of leads I get.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So if I have 5 salespeople, I can only get 20, and I can only get, let's say, 50 leads a week. If I have 10 salespeople, I can only get 100 leads a week. Whereas he's understanding, like, he's looking at the power of this and saying, wait a minute, one person, one marketing company can bring in, or one person or one whatever can bring in 10 times that amount of leads.
Mm-hmm.
because on the web and internet marketing, just the dynamics say I'm able to bring in more leads that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so he wants to say, wait, so if my salespeople are only bringing in 5 leads a week, how do I get them to bring in 50? How do I get them to talk with 50 people a week?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one thing I'd be cautious about, or it's just for your own understanding, it's not costing him a competitive advantage. It's the competition.
Okay.
Because his competitive advantage would certainly be unique to Scenario versus his competitor.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, I kind of thought that's what you meant.
Well, so competitive advantage. Well, yes and no. Yes, his competitive.
Unless he's using it to sell his
Correct.
services, whatever.
But he also increases his competitive advantage based on, and he probably doesn't even realize this. So I don't know if I'm going to sell him this or not. But he increases his competitive advantage by demonstrating his quote-unquote expertise in video. So if you're on Forbes and you've just written a video, an article on video and the power of video in terms of how it's building businesses in the future and all this other stuff, then the CEO of a company reading the Forbes magazine is going to kind of associate you with, oh wait, this guy's a video expert. And then you do that multiple times, and sort of, so his competitive advantage then innately becomes, I'm an expert in video, and that is over his, right. So who are they going to think of when I went to video expert guy?
Right.
So it does kind of build a competitive advantage. I don't know if I'm going to sell him that, because I don't know if he's there. I might bring it to his attention, but I might just sort of, I don't think I could build an entire presentation on that, though.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's
really more towards almost marketing.
Correct.
Almost towards marketing.
Yeah.
So if you were to ask him this question, and then we could make a series of questions, what's the current impact of this website not producing?
I, I have a general idea based on previous experience working with companies, but I would have to ask him that. Yeah.
Okay, so let's make a series of
Okay.
questions that that you can start to almost, I would call them, drill down
Yeah.
and value envisioning questions. So these are ways in which you could kind of drill him down a little bit, but also get him to envision to the future where you're the solution.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So if the one question was, um, what's the current impact
Right.
of the website?
Yeah.
How do you want to phrase that?
Yeah. Um,
What's the current impact of?
that's a good question. So it would be more like, hmm, it's almost like beyond. It would almost. I kind of not only do I want him to sort of imagine what a functional website would be, or do I want to make him experience like, man, you are just this is such a pain for you, and I just want to put my finger in the wound.
Yeah, no. What you want to do is you want to kind of guide him to what's the current impact of this website.
Okay, so you want to I want a baseline of where he is right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because you want him to tell you.
Okay,
Okay.
so I would probably say something like, do you know how many leads is your website?
No, 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 not yet.
No.
Just ask that question. Restate the
So
question
what's the current impact of a website not working?
of what's the current
Impact
impact of
of the website as it
the
stands.
website.
Okay.
Yeah, as the website.
Okay. I see.
Okay.
Yep.
And then what you want to ask him there is, okay, in regards to what's the current impact to maybe the current impact based on to the company's
What
um,
what about something like what were you expecting to happen? Something like that.
um, or just start to kind of guide him a little bit on the current impact of the website. How is it impacting the sales team?
It's it's
Okay.
probably not.
Okay. All right. So how is it impacting the company overall
Okay.
in terms of
It
money?
was a 40,000, 20, whatever it was, $25,000 write off,
Okay. All
essentially.
right. So that's what it's costing, 20,000.
Yeah, it would cost some money. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What about time?
Uh, that's a good question because he had to spend time with the developer developing it, and
So what was the time impact on that website?
right. Yep.
Okay. What else is it costing? What else is that current impact? What else is it impacting? You already said it's impacting their competitive
It
advantage.
impacts their competitive advantage. Correct.
It impacts what else?
Uh,
Number of leads that are possible to be generated.
yep. The number of leads and sales. Yes.
Leads and sale.
Yep.
Yep, it's impacting there. What else is it impacting?
Gee, it's well. I mean, it's also increase. It's also it's still a time commitment. I mean, time to develop the website, right, is time lost already. But he's still losing time um, the leads that because the leads that he's not generating from like when you generate a lead from a website, it's generally a it's a faster close or a less time committed close, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're like you could sort of um, do like automated closings and email autoresponders and things like that. And I'll just brief you on the technology. But whereas if you're going to like a networking event or an industry event or you're calling people face to face, I mean the salesperson has to manually keep in touch with versus automated keep in touch with. So it's still costing him, you know, 5 to 7 hours a week of his salespeople's time.
Okay, so it's costing him 5 to 7 hours a week.
of his salesperson's time, correct?
Sales reps.
Because they have to follow up weekly with
Yeah.
their prospects.
Okay.
And
And what do you think the current impact is to him as the CEO?
uh, I mean, it's just affecting his bottom. It's affecting his bottom line. It's
Do you
affect.
think he feels? Do you think he feels like he made a bad decision?
I do. I think
Yeah.
he feels like he kind of wasted his money. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So psychologically, there's almost this feeling that he's the leader of that company,
right.
and he's been telling them all about blah 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 blah, right?
Yep.
And it failed.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So there's this feeling of probably the other part of that impact is a feeling of remorse of as a leader. He made a bad decision.
Correct.
Poor decision.
Yep. Absolutely. He feels that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So CEO, poor decision. If nothing changes, and this would be another question, Rob, if nothing changes in the next year or two regarding Cinero's website and you keep things as they are, what's the future implication?
Okay. I mean, I have some idea, but that's a great question.
Did you hear how I phrased the question?
Yeah, I see how you phrased it.
Okay.
Yep, it's a great question.
Yeah. So now you're taking him from this is where it is currently.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Because you already know what happened in the past. Here's what it is currently.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it's currently impacting you in regards to time. Okay.
Yep.
To competitive advantage, money, leads, sales, time of your salespeople, and really the current impact of his overall which I don't even know, is just that as a CEO, it was a poor decision.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. So if nothing changes and you keep this site as is, okay, in the next year or two, what do you think the future implications will be on Cinero?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's going to slow up his hit whatever ambitions he has in terms of growth,
Okay.
moving into new markets and things along those lines. It's really going to
Okay.
seriously inhibit that. But I want to.
Okay.
But you're right. I should get that from him.
Yes, you want him to answer these,
Right.
not you answer
No,
these.
absolutely. And I'm just even thinking like you're right. With even if I don't mention the website, maybe something like if your marketing expand it out instead of not to get him thinking beyond the website a little bit. I wonder if I should say something along the lines of like if your marketing doesn't shit or if you don't change your marketing and you continue what you're doing today, how does that impact your future growth or how does that impact whatever ambitions you have going into the future?
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So I mean, customize it.
Correct. Yep, absolutely.
I mean, I'm just
No,
going
no, I'm just thinking out loud as well.
no, no. So I'm just kind of going off the cuff so that you
Yep.
can get him to now look at
The future.
in just a year or two,
Right.
because you can always back this up with what?
Data.
Yeah, your first of all, your data could be as simple as I mean, whoever had an iPad,
Correct.
okay,
Yep.
like how fast it's changing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
To
So
I'm probably gonna put. I'm just thinking off the cuff is like just the market data for CTOs getting online and making more purchasing decisions online, and then even things along those lines, like you said, the iPad and how many of these guys have one, and where are they purchasing, and is it much easier? Isn't it easier to find, like for them to get to find you versus you having to try to get past their secretary or whatever, and things like that, and trying to back that up with these guys are actually spending more time purchasing and making these kinds of high end decisions uh, through like you said their iPad.
hmm hmm what's the other thing that you can support him regarding the content marketing?
show I mean the obvious is just show him, oh, here are the not that I would bring up all, let's say, 200 of them, but here are the 200 articles that I wrote for. Here are just, I don't know, 5 of the 200 articles I wrote for company X in these 10 publications where I think you're where CTOs read, that kind of.
Hmm.
I mean, that would be one of the most powerful ways, I think.
Hmm.
Like,
What else?
um, I think I mean, one of the other things would be just uh, there is data on, and I would like to make it more specific to him, or somehow make it more specific, but just bring in quote unquote market data on how email marketing speeds up a person, like consistently email marketing people speeds up their decision to make a purchase, or to buy a new technology, or to buy a service, or whatever, and how the quote the relative price to email market. I don't want to go relative price because I don't want to say that, hey, email marketing is cheap, because then that's just
Hmm.
not good for me either. But just to say, relative to having a salesperson follow up 5 to 7 hours a week, email marketing is 1 hour a week, and it speeds up that buying decision by three
Right.
months or whatever. And there's data on that I could bring into the presentation as well.
Hmm. The other is lean heavily into your area of innovation, which is quality.
Okay.
Okay, so it's about the quality of the email marketing. It's the content.
Well, I think
Okay, I'm just
yeah.
phrasing that in sense of saying that so that
Hmm.
he doesn't get, yeah, they said it was going to be cheap. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's costing me this.
Correct.
So, in a way in which it's about that you've already identified the is in essence kind of like what you said, the education. You're educating
Correct.
him.
Yeah, I think like where I was gonna stick. That's a good point. The email marketing has to be quality.
Hmm.
I have to demonstrate that, but going and just demonstrating type. I think demonstrating the types of publications that he's going to see himself on
Right.
is also
Right.
sort of like there's also a lot of quality in that. These are the publications that he himself reads, and now
Yes.
he's gonna be there's just definitely like I'm gonna play to that ego, right? Hey, imagine, I know you read this publication, and so imagine seeing your name in there, you know that kind of
Hmm.
playing to his ego. And so
Yeah.
that way, he's going to distribute that to his salespeople and say, "Hey, listen, we were in so and so magazine, or so and so publication, and show all of the leads, show everybody that you know."
Yeah.
And so that's going to definitely play to his ego.
Which is envisioning him to the future.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, because where do you think his ego is right now about this whole marketing thing?
Oh, it's completely shot. I mean, it's probably the first thing that he has failed at this. I'll use the word spectacularly in a
Hmm.
long time. He makes little failures every day,
Yeah.
I'm sure, but it's the first time he spent this much money, this much time. He's with time and money, he's spent well over $150,000, probably, give or take, and
Which is what, a year's marketing budget?
which is about what he spends in a year. I mean, that's his time at, let's say, $400 an hour, plus his salespeople's time, plus the time it took whoever is building the website, and all this, like all these other things. He's probably spent about $150,000 in time and money.
Time and money.
Yes,
Right. Which is able.
and this is his, by far, in the life of his business and the life of him as CEO, is by far the biggest failure he's ever had. I would imagine. If it's
Hmm.
not the biggest, it's one of the.
Hmm. Hmm. So from there, you can almost start to say what? That your sense of this is that there's been significant loss.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I could probably even get him to quantify how much he's lost.
And that
Sp-
is
yeah.
critical
I
because in a very in this kind of consultative
mhm.
selling presentation with
Yep.
him is to always be able to kind of go back to what the cost
Yep.
is,
I could even
what it's costing, and quantify
right.
it.
Even just simple as saying, "Hey, how much do you value? How much is 1 hour worth of your time?" And him, it's probably $500 to $700 an hour, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
And how many hours did you spend a week on managing the developers of this website? I don't know. Let's make it easy. 10 hours. So you spent between $5,000 and $7,000 a week, just on your time managing this website. Yes. And how much did you know what I mean? And how many weeks was that? Well, it took 10 weeks to it
Mm-hmm.
took 10 weeks to build it or whatever. So let me get this straight. You spent $50,000 just on your time alone managing this website. Yes. And so just sort of, I think I could probably get him to nail down an exact number of how much he spent on this website.
Yeah. So a way where you can almost tie those questions up would be like really asking him. So when you think about the ultimate impact
Right.
and future
Yep.
implications, okay, and then you can just kind of lead him from there. So it's almost like you kind of really get him thinking about what was the ultimate impact of this poor decision,
Correct.
and if I choose to do nothing else, or I choose to go with somebody other than Greg, what's the future implication going to be?
Right. Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Then you can always keep asking him the question, what else?
Yeah.
What else? Or say more.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, say more. Because if you got him emotionally, where almost he starts to say, this was the
Yeah.
the worst decision. I've never failed like this
Yep.
before. Then you've got him right
Yep.
there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The so the question then is, how do I? What's the next step then? I think I could get him to say this is. I think I could get him to tell me that it failed spectacularly. Then what?
Right. Then what would you say? You could say, my sense is based on what you just told me.
So is this then where I would lead into? Let me show you how other people. Right? Is this where I go back to meet him on his terms and say, let me show you how other people who have failed just as spectacularly as you. I mean, maybe not in that phrasing.
Well, first is I would meet him where he is,
Okay.
very beginning.
Okay.
Okay, from the very beginning. You need him to see you basically almost as that trusted advisor.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
Like, hey, Rob, we met how many years ago, kind of been through, the little piecemeal of the job. I mean, you're not going to bring him back to that, but to see how far you've gone,
Yep.
you've grown
Yep.
in the course of time.
Yep.
And then to be able to say, you know what, I'm really sensing, that there, that I'm really sensing right now your greatest frustrations or whatever
Mm-hmm.
it is. And then say, you know what, here's one of my top clients,
Right. Boom.
J2 Solutions or whatever, and be able to say, oh my gosh, they invested $40,000 on the website. This is what we did because we have. What you want to show him is what you're proven,
Yep.
systematized it.
Yep.
You generate results, right?
Yep.
You're quality. What else? The space.
That I know his space. I know exactly what he's going through, and I know how to solve. And not that I know how to solve it just yet, but that I have delivered the results that he's looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how I want to open, and then I want to drill down on what is your pain? What is your problem? What is the current impact of your website? What is the current impact of your marketing? How much has it cost you? And sort of how much is your time? And I want him to, and I definitely want to lead him down that path of like you're worth $700 an hour, and you spent seven whatever 10 hours a week for 10 weeks developing this website of your time, and and oh, by the way, it cost you $20,000 to have it built, and it's costing your salespeople 7 hours a week, and how much is all that time? That's all adding up to about $150,000 of revenue lost, of money lost for you.
Right. The other, if you can get him, and it would depend on, well, it depends. It depends on kind of where you are with him.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure if I were doing it, I could probably get him there, but meaning gender related
Yes.
in some way. Okay, would be slightly in terms of not only that current impact, but what would have been like those missed opportunities. Okay, you went on vacation and you spent the mornings like having
Yeah,
to
that's
deal
a good
with the
one.
web development.
Right.
Okay, or what were other missed opportunities where maybe they lost a sale.
Yeah, that's a great
Okay,
point.
so again, it's kind of what's been the impact of missed opportunities.
Absolutely, that's a great point. That's a really great point.
Okay. You know,
How many?
I mean, because they've had various opportunities in front of them.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
The other is when you look at in terms of growth. Let me just squeeze it in. I gotta check my book.
Sure.
Because I don't want to be giving you the wrong. It's kind of in the area of slightly of like innovation, but it's really about how companies grow. So even I don't know, you could probably do it, but if there are 4 quadrants.
Okay.
Okay, and on the left-hand vertical side would be the market.
Yep.
The bottom right would be product or services.
Okay.
Okay, so the quadrants are now, like what he's doing now currently.
Could you hold it up to the? Is it in the book? Let's see.
If you can, maybe I'll scan it to you.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I see it. That's great. Yeah.
Okay. Kind of like this. Okay, he's in a quadrant right now that is the now market with his now product
Correct.
or services,
Yep.
right? Okay, and he's in that space. And a lot of times the companies think that this is the only place, how can I grow there?
Correct.
So the easiest place to grow is to go to the future market, new markets.
With the future.
What are new markets delivering the same product or service?
Yep.
Where the greater opportunity would be to get him into really a new product or service, which is what you're saying is that our marketing will enable you to generate more sales.
Correct.
Right? Okay. And most likely we could also probably get you to expand your growth into other new markets, like new markets as well. So you kind of almost, this is a new way of selling. It's almost a new way of selling and also an opportunity to expand into a new market.
I see.
May not necessarily.
I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% sure that. I think I could get that to apply.
But it's where he has the capabilities of growth.
Right.
Okay. So what you're saying is, hey, you've got 10 salespeople or 5 salespeople. They only generate 10 leads a week. You can only get to 50 leads a week. That's on a good week.
Right. That's if nobody's on vacation. Correct.
and if anybody's struggling or
Right.
whatever.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. But here, if you innovate with the web,
Hmm.
okay, it's going to be able to get you into a new market,
Right.
okay, maybe other industries, etc., and we'll be able to sell your product, your services in a shorter period of time. It's kind of like what you've been
Yeah.
saying.
That's cool. I could definitely. Yeah. I mean, I could just show him that. Show, I don't want to show him that graph. I don't want to insult his intelligence because he knows
Yeah,
that.
but
But
think
yeah.
about what he did with Erling.
Yep.
Okay, he stayed in the same market,
Right.
and all he did was change the product.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, that's all he did, and he didn't get any growth, did he?
I don't know. I
I don't know.
haven't. To be honest, I haven't taught. I mean, he's been. He has. He's like re-expanded. He's opened up new offices, and but I don't know how Link has gone.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
it didn't take off as he
I
expected.
don't think so.
Right.
Okay. But that was.
So there's also kind of a little, I think, of that residue, because again, it's in an area that he is not competent.
Correct. Absolutely. And he was trying to. They were trying to. You're right. They were trying to sell a. They were trying to sell that the same way they were trying to sell their $100,000 service or product or installation. Sorry, and it just
Mm-hmm.
wasn't working in the same fashion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So then maybe a closing question would be, um, what significant value do you think I would deliver?
Interesting. That's a good one.
Or a question that's asking, so what significant value will or
I mean, what about like something like because if I've already showed him the proof that I've delivered, what about like can something along the lines of can you see the value that these like can you see the value of this marketing system that I've implemented for J2 like clickability and the hell was the other one?
limelight?
Limelight Networks. Can you see how they can you see how this system can benefit you? Is that
Okay,
is that
so
is that too
questions, just make sure that they're not a yes or a no answer.
gotcha?
Okay, so you want him to do more of the talking.
Okay. So can you see how
Can you imagine?
can you
Imagine what the value. What if scenario?
what about like what kind of so if we were able to implement the exact marketing system and get you in Forbes and do all the email marketing that we did for clickability and J2 can what value would that what
What?
impact would that have on Scenaro or on that
Yeah.
or on your organization? Can you quantify it? I don't want to say can you quantify that actually because that would be yes or no. But what
Right.
impact can you imagine the impact that or what impact would that have on your organization? So I think that's the question,
That is the question.
right?
That is a great
Yeah.
question.
Okay. And then when he says a positive impact or whatever he's going to say, hopefully he says. I mean, if he says negative, then we just wasted an hour.
Yeah, but
Says
if he says something like, "Oh, that would have a positive impact," then what do you say?
how do you think or something? That's a crappy
Yeah. So
question,
if
but
he says,
could you how would it have a positive impact on your organization, or how would it be positive for you?
yeah, or what does positive mean to
Right.
you? Okay, because you want him to
Right.
drill
Yeah,
down.
then he'll say something. Then he'll probably say, well, like the other ones that you've done, I could see how this is going to generate traffic, and I understand how you're going to convert leads, and I understand all this, and I see how it's sped up the lead process, and that's what I would. That's what I'd probably lead him down to say is, and then I could probably, and then once he gets there, once he says, hey, I could see how this is going to impact my leads. I could see how this is going to increase my sales cycle and make it faster, and I could see how my salespeople are going to go from 10 leads a week to 50 leads a week. Then I think I have it to almost, so what would stop you? What's keeping you from working with us right now?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that is that's it. Then we're done.
Right.
And
Or
if he
you
said,
could,
and then I could get right to his objections and say whatever his objections are, but I could definitely overcome them. But now we're exactly on the same page. I brought him right, and so what's keeping you from working with us right today? And then his
or even just saying it in a positive, affirmative sense of saying, well, it sounds like we're a great fit.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think that I'm pushy enough to. I kind of want to make. I don't know if that sounds too pushy or too forward.
Mhm.
So I kind of want to be more of a. I want to bring. I think if I asked him the question, it would come across as he's making the decision right now. Does that make sense, or would you just be forward, or does it matter?
Well,
I'm sure it matters.
I would say, Greg, follow your gut.
Okay.
Okay. Remember one of your non-negotiables?
Yeah.
About
Yeah.
people. Yeah. So with him, so it would be real easy to say, hey, Greg, it sounds like this will be a great fit
Right.
for you and Scenero.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, what do you want to give him?
Value
Value,
and
and value is
sales, money.
right. Because at the end of the day, you know what? I know that I can deliver you the results
Correct.
you want.
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Like you know it with conviction.
Correct.
Yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt, I can absolutely deliver the results you want.
Yes. Absolutely. And yeah, I think then you're pretty much it. It's done. Sounds easy enough. What's
Back.
that?
What's holding you back?
From me?
There was a little hesitation in you. I could just see it all.
I was just thinking about like what his objections might be in terms of like cost and things like that.
Uh-huh.
And
Well, you already know how much he's spent, what it's cost him.
exactly. So even if I was just thinking about like even if I just say, hey, listen, for $500, I know you're, yeah, I know marketing has been something that has been a bane of your existence for for some time. So if we're at that point where we're talking about moving forward, even if it's like, hey, I could show you results for $500 or $1,000, which is significantly less than the $150,000 you've already spent, and it's
Mhm.
significantly less than the millions of dollars you're going to lose in the next year, couple years, 5 years, in missed opportunities, as well as other trial and errors that you're going to have, right? Trying to catch up
Mhm.
to the competition. You're probably,
Mhm.
I mean, so this $1,000 or whatever it is, this $500, whatever, I'll show you the results
Mhm.
within the next few days or weeks or
Right.
whatever.
And sometimes, and it depends on even just asking the question of saying, what do you know that's true? Is and what you want to kind of get him to is to be able to say what is absolutely
Hmm.
true, that technology and this form of marketing um, isn't going away,
Correct. Absolutely.
right? Like it's kind of
Yep.
like um, it ain't going
Right.
away.
It's almost like you could try it for $500 right now, today, or $1,000 right now, today, and or you could spend the next 5 years costing your company millions, costing Scenario millions of dollars trying to catch up to the people who have already figured out, who've spent the last few years
Yeah,
trying to, who spent the last few years figuring it out for themselves.
yeah. And what else?
Time,
Time,
yes, yep,
time.
yeah, millions of dollars in lost opportunity and millions of dollars in time spent trying to figure it
Yeah,
out. Yep, absolutely.
yeah. And so you're hitting him on a real chord.
Correct.
Hmm.
Hmm. Cool. I, th-
What else do you think you would need to close the sale with him?
I would probably I would probably introduce him to, hey, like, would you like to meet J2?
Hmm.
I would absolutely positively do that.
Okay, so a reframe of that response, that question, may be where you can say, I'd like to offer an introduction to J2 so that you can meet him or blah, blah,
Right.
blah, and really have a private time to ask any
Yeah.
questions about the result. Okay?
Absolutely.
So,
And I would probably say it even more specific, like, hey, J2 has agreed to meet at 4 o'clock on Thursday. Are you available? I could set it up. You guys would, first of all, you guys would really hit it off. They're a great group. They're great guys.
yeah.
Um, and you would really benefit from talking with them, blah, 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 something along those
Mhm.
lines.
Mhm.
So I would probably do that. That would be the one thing, just to sort of reaffirm like that proof. So that way he could ask his own questions. And I'm not
Mhm.
saying I'm great all the time, and I could get other people to tell him how great I am.
Right. Yeah. So you really, which is probably the best thing you could do,
Right.
is that you give him, here's a
Yes,
contact
absolutely.
to talk to about this.
And then what else would he need? Do I think? I think like that trial period would be like a smallish trial period, like that $500 to $1,000, which for his size of a company is absolutely nothing. He probably loses that on a daily basis. Um,
So really kind of like um, no long-term
no, right,
commitment.
exactly. I'm not going to lock him into a year-long contract right today.
Right. You overcame the commitment
Yep,
issue. You overcame what the
the
money
money, the
issue.
commitment, and then what would be the uh, the money, the commitment, and then the other one. His biggest fear is, like I said, I spent all this money already and it's not working. How do I know that it's going to work with you? And so his that would be introducing him to another client. So that would be the third big objection that he would have. The fourth objection,
Okay, that's not tied into the first one, which is kind of like the testimonial.
the well, no, the first one, the first, there's three. I think three.
Like J2.
No, there's three objections that he's going to have that I could overcome.
Okay.
The first objection is going to be, I've spent $150,000 or whatever. How do I know that this is going to work with you? So I'll introduce him to J2. The
Hmm.
second one is, I don't want to commit to a year or whatever, so, and I just kind of want to try out. So a small trial period of like a $500, $1,000 for a month type of work, whatever, just to prove to him, further prove to him I don't want to commit. The other one is, how much time am I going to spend managing this project? Right? I don't have 20 hours a week to dedicate to you. So that would be his third objection. I just don't have the time to do all this work that you're probably going to ask me to do. And so we have to overcome, like, hey, so when he talks with J2 and all these other things, he can understand like uh, it only takes an hour a week or whatever that of
Hmm.
time.
Okay.
Um, and so those are his three primary objections that I could foresee. Okay,
Will you offer him
one
just
second, Pay.
a
I'm
trial?
sorry, 1 second. I just want to run to the restroom.
Oh, okay. Go right ahead. Then we're gonna come
Yep.
back. Okay. Real quick, go. You have to go to the bathroom.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you
Yep.
got it.
All right. So what were you gonna ask?
Do you feel you need to offer him the trial? Or would it be easier to start with just the trial
I think.
and then convert him?
See, I
Or
think it would be easier to like so the other clients are spending like 10,000 a month at least,
Mhm.
and I think that it would be easier to offer him the trial and then get him to the $10,000 price point. I don't know if I
right,
could. I don't know if I could jump to $10,000 a month for after what we're talking for 2 hours. You know what I mean? After like a 2 hour conversation.
yeah. So that's why I ask. Like, would it be? I mean, there's no right or wrong, but how badly do you want him?
He's perfect for me, so pretty bad.
Hmm. So is it best to bring him in as a trial and say, hey, you know what I'd like to just offer you is a trial period. Give me 90 days, 30, or,
Yeah,
6, a month or 2 months or whatever, versus um, kind of just, would that be an ease of just him then saying, all right, let's just do it?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think because, like I said, he's been burned so many. He's been burned before, and I have to play. I have to understand that going in that he not he under, like I don't want to say he's reluctant to spend money on it, but he wants to do it and he wants to do it, but he doesn't want to be burned again.
Right. So is there a way to just say, hey, let's do this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's start with a month.
Right. So let's start with a
And,
month and $1,000 commitment and 30 days on my time, and $1,000 in 30 days. And here's what you're
mhm,
gonna get. You're gonna get X, Y, Z. And
here are the
yep.
deliverables.
And we're gonna prove to you, and I want to prove to you that this system works. That what we've put together, that the marketing program that we're gonna put together for you works. And then after those 30 days are up, we can talk about expanding the service to fit whatever budget that you have.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then it's if like how does that sound? And just ask him how does that sound to you, and he would probably say that sounds good, especially
Hmm.
if we got it to this point.
Would you be willing to give him a money back guarantee?
Yes, I think the money back guarantee would be more. Yes, I would. I would. It would be something along the lines of if we don't get you into XYZ publication, and I can't qualify. I can't say we're going to get you this many leads.
Right, right.
I just can't do that because I don't know specifically how. I can't guarantee. Oh, you're going to get 100 leads right now. With
Right, but what you can guarantee is what? That he would be satisfied? He
I
would
could
see.
guarantee that. I could guarantee a few things. I could guarantee that he's going to get into the publication that he wants. I
Hmm.
could guarantee that he will. I could guarantee a satisfaction, like a satisfaction type of guarantee. Um, and I mean, I could, I could probably, depending on how. I mean, I have. See, I'm reluctant. Again, I'm just so reluctant to say I'm going to get you 100 leads or whatever. That's just.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
no,
want
no,
to. I want to
no.
steer
But
weird. Steer weird.
can you increase the amount of leads?
With that, I could probably get him as many leads with this one thing. Like, but again, I don't know if I want to guarantee that. I will increase his leads, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Or you could just, or can you just say, you know what? To make this completely risk
Yep.
free, okay? You know, write me the check or whatever, and I'll just hold the check for 30 days. And if you're not satisfied, I'll just give it back to you.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? An option, an option where you will be out nothing.
Correct.
Absolutely nothing.
Right. That's a great that's good. That's a good idea. I would like to put some qualifier on satisfaction though. I think. What
Yeah.
does satisfaction mean?
No, I would be I
Or
would
just not even at. Don't even at. Like, don't worry about
right.
that.
No.
Just kind of, if I feel like he's not gonna rip me off or whatever in the 2 hours that we're talking, then just leave
Right.
it.
Or you can just say if you can. I mean, because we got to wrap our time. But if you can come up with him or prior to that by saying that you know what these are the deliverables. I'll be able to get you in the publication that you've always
Right.
wanted. Blah blah. I'll be able to make some form of movement of the number of leads, qualified leads the current site is now
Yep.
generating.
In the
Okay.
form of email names, email addresses, and phone numbers.
Right. And I can generate leads for
Yep.
you. I can generate more leads than you're currently
Correct.
getting.
Yes.
That's all you're
Yep.
saying. You're not saying it's 100 times more. You're just saying I can
More.
generate you
Okay.
more. Right now, you've decided that this site's only generating 3 leads in a month. I know I can do more than
Okay.
that.
Yep.
Okay? And if at the end of the 30 days you feel that I was unable to fulfill, you're not satisfied in any way,
Okay.
then I'll return the check
Absolutely.
to you. Or I won't charge your credit card.
Okay. That sounds great.
Yep. Okay? Totally risk-free, Rob. You know, we go way back.
Right.
You know, I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You know, and just let him know that, you know, he's somebody you really want to work with and you want to and you know that you can do it. Because you told me why.
Sounds good. I think that's it.
What else? Anything else?
Not off the top of my head.